Chapter 1, Section 5 of Cup of Gold. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Read by Kurt from Tucson, Arizona. Cup of Gold by John Steinbeck. Old Robert looked up hopefully when the boy came into the room. And then the hope died away, and he turned quickly to the fire. But Mother Morgan jumped from her seat and went angrily to Henry. "What is this foolishness? You going to the Indies?" she demanded. "But, Mother, I must go. Truly, I must. And Father understands. Can't you hear how the Indies are calling to me?" "That I cannot. It's wicked nonsense is in it. A little child you are, and not to be trusted from home at all. Besides, your own father is going to tell you it may not be." The strong jaw of the boy set like a rock, and the muscles stood out in his cheeks. Suddenly there came a flash of anger into his eyes. "Then, Mother, if you will not understand, I tell you that I am going the morrow, in spite of all of you." Hurt pride chased incredulity from her face, and that too passed, leaving only pain. She shrank from the bewildering hurt, and Henry, when he saw what his words had done, went quickly to her. "I'm sorry, Mother, so very sorry. But why can you not let me go as my father can? I don't want to hurt you, but I must go. Won't you see that?" He put his arm about her, but she would not look at him. Her eyes stared blankly straight in front of her. She was so sure that her view was right. Throughout her life she had insulted and browbeaten and scolded her family, and they had known her little tyranny to be the outcropping of her love for them. But now that one of them, and he the child, had used the tone she spoke with every hour, it made a grim hurt that might never be quite healed again. "You spoke with Merlin? What did he say to you?" asked Robert from the hearth. Henry's mind flashed quickly to Elizabeth. "He talked of things that are not in my belief," he said. "Well, it was only a chance," murmured Robert. "You hurt your mother badly, boy," he went on. "I've never seen her so quiet." Then Robert straightened himself, and his voice became firm. "I have 5 pounds for you, son. It's little enough. I suppose I might give you a small matter more, but not enough to help much. And here is a letter recommending you to my brother, Sir Edward. He went out before the king was murdered. And for some reason, perhaps because he was quiet, old Cromwell has let him stay. If he is there when you come to Jamaica, you may present this letter. But it's a cold, strange man who takes great pride in his rich acquaintance, and might be a little annoyed with a poor relative. And so I do not know that good will come of this letter. He would dislike you unless you were able to see nothing funny in a man who looks like me, only strides about with a silver sword and plumes on his head. I laughed once, and he has not been a near brother to me since. But keep the letter. It may help you with other people, if not with your uncle." He looked at his wife, sitting huddled in the shadow. "Will we not have supper, Mother?" She made no sign that she heard him, and Robert himself poured the pot and brought the food to the table. "It is a cruel thing to lose a son for whom you have lived continuously." Somehow she had imagined him always beside her, a little boy, and always beside her. She tried to think of the coming days, and Henry not there, but the thought was shattered on the bleak wall of a lean imagination. She attempted to consider him ungrateful so to run away from her. She recalled the harsh blow he had dealt her, but always the mind snapped back. Henry was her little boy, and naturally he could not be mean nor treacherous. In some way, when all this talk and pain had drifted into the thin air, he would be yet beside her, deliciously underfoot. Her mind, which had been always a scalpel of reality, her imagination, which dealt purely with the present outsides of things, went fondling back to the baby who had crawled and stumbled and learned to talk. She forgot that he was going away at all. So deeply was she laved in a reverie of the silver past. He was being baptized in a long white dress. All the water of baptism collected in one big drop and rolled down his blobby nose, and she, in her passion for tidiness, wiped it off with a handkerchief, and then wondered if he shouldn't be baptized again. The young curate was perspiring and choking over his words. He was lately come to the parish and was only a local boy anyway. He was really too young, she thought, to be trusted with an affair of this importance. Perhaps it wouldn't take. He might get the words in the wrong order or something. And then Robert had made a mess of his waistcoat again. He never could get the right button in the right hole to save him. It made him look all racked to one side. She must go and tell Robert about his waistcoat before people in the church noticed it. Small things like that were surest to cause talk. But could she trust this foolish young curate not to let the baby fall while she went? Supper was over, and aged Gwenliana rose from the table to struggle back to her seat before the fire. Quietly she was slipping back into her friendly future. "What time will you be starting the morning?" asked Robert. "Why, about 7, I think, father." Henry tried to sound casual. The ancient woman paused in her journey and looked sharply at him. "Now where is Henry going?" she asked. "Why, don't you know? Henry is going away from us in the morning. He is going to the Indies." "And not coming back again?" she questioned anxiously. "Not for a time, anyway. It's a great distance." "Why, but I must lay the future before him, then. That's what I must do before him, like the white pages of an open book," she exclaimed in pleased excitement. "I must tell him of the future and the things in it. Let me look at you, boy." Henry went to her and sat at her feet while she talked. There is truly a spell in the ancient Cymric tongue. It is a speech made for prophecy. "Of course," Gwenliana said. "If I had only known of this today, I should have got the shoulder bone of a new-killed sheep. It's a means of greater antiquity and better thought of than just snap prophecy. And since I have grown old and rusty and lame, I cannot go about any more to meet the spirits that wander the high road. You cannot do as well if there is not the means in you to walk among the strolling dead and listen to their thoughts. But I shall give you a thorough life, grandson, and as fine a future as I ever pondered on." She leaned back in her chair and closed her eyes. But if one had looked closely, he might have seen their glint below the lids where they peered out at the set face of the boy. A long time she sat entranced, and it seemed that her old brain combed out the tangles of the past to make a straight, tellable future. At length she spoke in the low, hoarse chanting voice that is reserved for dread things. "This is the tale out of a bread, when earth and water battled, and from the impact of their clash was born a little struggling life to squirm upward through the circles toward Gwynfyd, the sheening purity, and that first blundering flesh is written the world's history and the world's journey through the void. And thou, often has Onwin set its fanged maw to entrap the little pinch of life thou carriest about. But thou hast made thy path to go around its snaring. 1,000 centuries hast thou lived since earth and sea struggled in thy generation, and 1,000 eons shalt thou carry about the little pinch of life that was given thee, so only thou shelterest from Anwin the chaos. Always she began her prophecies thus. It was a thing taught her by a wandering bard, to whom it had come from bard to bard, back and back to the white Druids. Gwenlliana paused to let her words find footing in the boy's brain. She continued, "This is the tale of thy present wandering. Thou shalt become a great shining for the divine, teaching the things of God." Her secret eyes saw the boy's face fall in disappointment, and she cried, "But wait a moment. I go too far ahead. There shall be fighting and shedding of blood, and the sword shall be thy first bride." Henry's face lighted up with pleasure. "The whisper of thy name shall be a foregathering command to the warriors of the world. Thou shalt sack the cities of the infidel and spoil him of his plunderings. The terror will precede thee like a screaming eagle over the shields of men." She knew now that her forecast was a success, but she hastened on to greater glories. "The government of islands and continents shall be thine, and thou shalt bring justice and peace to them. And at last, when thou art girded with honor and repute, thou shalt marry a white-souled maiden of mighty rank, a girl of good family and wealthy," she finished. Her eyes opened, and she glanced about for their approbation. "I could have done better with a sheep's shoulder," she said plaintively, "or if I could be walking about on the high road now and then. But age robs you of your little pleasures and leaves you with only a cold, quiet waiting." "Ah, well, mother, it was a good prophecy," said old Robert. "As good as I ever heard you make. You are just coming to the peak of your occult strength, I think, and you have taken away my dread and reassured me about Henry's going. Now I am only proud of what my boy is to be. Only I wish he didn't have to kill people." "Well, then, if you think it was really good," said Gwenlliana happily. "It did seem to me that the air was propitious and my eyes clear tonight. Still, I should have liked a sheep's shoulder." She closed her eyes contentedly and went to dozing. End of Chapter 1, Section 5.